Building Brands podcast is dedicated to exploring the journeys of industry leaders who have successfully built a brand. Join Building Brands Marketing, a marketing agency that has successfully scaled multiple brands, as we dive deep into the strategies, challenges, and insights that have shaped the success of industry leaders and provide you with the resources you need to do the same. Building Brands Marketing is a full-service marketing agency specializing in crafting customized marketing strategies for service-based businesses with the creative powerhouse to drive real results. Welcome to the Building Brands Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Building Brands Podcast. My name is Braden Popp, the host of today's episode in the Policy and Profits series. And today I am happy to welcome Cileen Doulatt, who is the co-founder of Excel CSR Services. Cileen, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Braden. It's my pleasure being here.
Awesome. So Cileen, I want to start by just talking about Excel. I don't know if you want to give us a little bit of an overview of who Excel CSR is and the services you provide. Can you maybe start with that?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So Excel CSR Services is an outsourcing company. We hire and train virtual assistants for insurance agencies. I have been in the insurance space for probably over 12 years and have a deep love for insurance. And I always saw the need for skilled individuals in the space. And unfortunately, I see where a lot of agents had struggled in the past trying to fill those gaps in their agency. And that's when I came up with the idea of, maybe this is a service that we could offer. And so around 2021 in the pandemic, when most agencies were struggling because everyone was at home, it was hard to get people to work, I actually started this business. And we are located in Jamaica. That's where our offices are. And we hire and train virtual assistants there. And we work with insurance agencies all over the US.
That's a great service and a great thing to identify. I have spoken with many insurance agency owners, and a lot of them do mention, yeah, we have struggled finding good people to promote us and to answer our phones and represent our brand. And so that's cool that you identified that need as well. So I guess I want to start here as well. So when clients first discover Excel, what do you think captures their attention and what ultimately makes them decide to work with you?
So like you mentioned, most agencies, they are drowning in admin work. And
Mhm.
so when they discover Excel, what stands out is that we specialize in insurance. There are a lot of virtual assistant companies out there, but not a lot of them specialize in insurance. And insurance is such a niche industry. There's so many different rules and regulations. So the person who did admin at their local business somewhere might not have all the skills and tools that are necessary for working in the insurance space. So when you find someone who understands the basics of insurance, who understands the industry, and they can then come in and join your team and work, it builds such a value. One of the things, though, that clients often say to me, or prospects when they reach out to me, is that they trust me. They trust the brand Excel. And that has always been something that has been interesting to me because, wow, we're just meeting for the first time and you're telling me now that you can trust me with your business and with all your information. And I soon realized that that's just how we have positioned ourselves as a company. Transparency, authenticity are things that are so important to us. And that for me is one of the biggest compliments any client, any prospect has ever given me, is meeting me and telling me that, they trust us and they believe in the product and the services that we offer.
That's really cool. Just dive into that a little bit more. Why do you think that is that they come to you the first time they're talking to you, they say, "Hey, I already trust y'all." Is it something that y'all are doing maybe on the digital landscape, maybe the way you're positioning your brand? How do you think you've accomplished that trust so quickly?
So a lot of what we do is organic. We have grown our business just social media, organic. I share with my audience what we offer the services, but I also share a lot of value. I give people tips and ideas on how they can be more organized in their agency, how they can adapt new technology and new ideas and processes. My clients also, they help to build that trust because I'll say probably 70% of the people who come to us, they're client referrals. And that's very interesting because insurance is such a competitive space. So when other agents are helping other agents and referring them to resources, that really speaks volumes. So I definitely credit my clients as well for helping us to build that trust brand because they speak so highly about Excel. They refer us and speak about us in spaces that I or even the brand Excel has never been in, and that also help us to reach such a wider audience as well.
Absolutely. You mentioned organic growth there and how that's been a priority for you in your marketing strategy. Um, Organic is obviously the best route to get new leads. It's where, like you mentioned, if you get a referral organically, it's a lot easier to get that person to trust you than maybe running paid advertising and trying to win people over for the first time who haven't heard of you before through a trusted source. So the challenge with organic can sometimes be that it's difficult to predict. Okay, am I going to get the same number of leads this month versus next month? So how do you kind of navigate that? Do you rely at all on paid advertising, or do you prioritize fostering those organic channels to make sure that they're consistent? How do you navigate that process?
So organic has worked out really, really well for us. I don't necessarily have a formula. The only thing I can say is we're authentic. We just,
Yeah.
share real stories. And something that I heard once, it says there's a difference with sharing or telling your story and inviting people into your story. And
Mm,
that really connected with me because it requires you to understand your audience, understand what they're looking for, and then share a story that resonates with them. And when you couple that with just being your authentic self, then you tend to just build like a niche following of people who relate and believe in what you're speaking about or what you have to share. As far as the consistency, when we just started out, like I said, it was just telling people about what we're doing. We're growing this business, we're offering this service. And I got to the point where I actually had to stop posting for a while
mm,
because we were getting more influx of inquiries and leads than we actually had the resources
wow.
to manage. So we had to pause. And then over the years, I have just been able to strike that balance between just knowing sometimes I just have to tell myself, okay, you can't really promote too much this month because you've already onboarded so many clients. And I take my time in making sure that everyone is getting like that white glove experience. It's more quality over quantity. So I definitely pace myself and grow at a steady pace. And organic has really done that for me. I have done paid advertising as well, and I have gotten results from that too. I have gotten some good quality leads, people who reach out, they're interested. It is a lot easier to onboard an organic lead than someone who comes in from a paid ad because these people who come to me organically, they've already been sold without me even having to pitch them individually, right?
Right.
I actually had one agent when I was telling her, she was like, "You don't have to tell me all of that. I already trust you. I already know I want to go with you. So just send me the contract and I'll sign." And I said, "Hold on. We still have to go over some key points and just make
Right.
sure you get it." So I do believe that that's something that's very, very important for our business.
Absolutely. Diving into the paid advertising, what tactics have you tried? Has it been relying on Google, social media? What have been some of those paid tactics that have been most successful for you?
Definitely Facebook ads have been very successful for us. Yes.
Okay. And does the messaging look similar to your organic messaging, or do you have to approach the messaging and a paid advertisement differently?
It's a little different. Because when something pops up on your Facebook feed organically, you probably spend time to read, to look at it, to maybe read the comments. But once
Mhm.
you see that little sponsored thing up there, you're just like, get out of there. So you have
Right.
such a shorter time to grab someone's attention when it's a paid advertising versus when it's organic.
Oh, absolutely. Um, And that's why we always emphasize whenever we're running paid advertising the importance of a very clear and an enticing call to action. It's very easy to put like a simple call to action on your social media posts, like call now or schedule your consultation today. But sometimes it's better, especially if you're running targeted ads towards a specific demographic, to speak to them directly and make sure that their next step is clear in the call to action. And so, um, like if they're needing your services, like speak to our agent now, like very
Right.
direct, like letting them know, hey, here's what your next step will be. That can also sometimes help to improve your social ads. A lot, and also people oftentimes will run social ads with no call to action, which is surprising to me, because it's which can be a decent tactic if you're running an awareness campaign, but um, I always prefer, if you're going to put money behind something, you can have measurable results behind it as well, and you can identify those results. Which kind of leads me to my next question. Um, how do you kind of determine the success of your marketing initiatives? What are some of the tools or things that you're looking at to say, hey, this is successful or this is not successful? We need to kind of shift in this area. What have been some of those things that you've been doing?
Real quick, before we jump into that question, I wanted to
Yeah.
piggyback on the conversation of paid advertising.
Hmm.
So, with the brand Excel, a big part of our brand is my team and myself, right? So
Right.
it's very personal. Now, as we are gearing up to scale and to do it on an even bigger, in a bigger way as a company, I've realized that I don't want the responsibility to be the face or to be responsible for the brand as much as I've been since we started.
Right.
And I think this is where paid advertising is crucial because it will then allow the company to build its own brand, independent of me, independent of my team. And being the brand for your company, being the face of your company, it's good because people like to work with people who they know, like, and trust, right? But it also comes with the weight of you always have to be keyed in and turned on and dialed in. And so when life is happening to you on a personal level, it's then going to affect your business.
Right.
So being able to separate the two is so crucial. And so this is now going forward, we're going to be leaning more into paid advertising because we want Excel CSR Services to just be the name that people know, not Cileen, not the members of our team that they've worked with, but Excel CSR Services. And I think that's important for companies that really want to scale and grow in a significant way.
No, I think you touched on it. But yeah, relying, especially early on, you almost have to rely on your own personal brand when you're starting
Yeah,
a business because you're the one reaching out to all your network connections and everything. But if you continue to rely on that, it's going to wear you down. And as your network continues to grow, not everyone can speak to you. You have limited time. Not everyone can interact with you, especially as your business continues to expand. And so, yeah, I agree. It's important to establish a brand and start emphasizing that brand as much, and also hiring people around you that share your same culture and values, so that whenever they do interact with your brand, you're still getting the Cileen Doulatt experience. It's just through her staff that she hires with like-minded people, right? Um,
exactly. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so that was a great point, and thank you for adding that. But let's circle back around then to measuring success. What are some of those tools and tactics that you do, like you utilize to say, hey, this is a successful initiative for us to pursue further, or maybe we should shift directions?
Yeah, so I definitely track conversion metrics, even for my organic leads. I pay close attention. So sometimes, like, I'll get an influx of inquiry in my inbox, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what has led to this? Did I post something? Did someone mention us in a group on social media? Because there's so many group where insurance agents come together and share resources. Did someone mention me there? And I always ask, how did you hear about us? Where did you find out about us? And that's why I'm able to pinpoint and say, okay, we're getting a lot of referrals and they're coming from our clients who have referred us, or the people are responding to things that we're posting online, or they're responding to an ad that ad campaign that we're doing. Um, I also pay attention to engagement. So engagement is really, really important when it comes to organic growth, and not the vanity metrics. Because I'll post stuff from time to time, and the only person who interacts is my mother. Thank you, Mom. But that doesn't mean that I'm not getting inquiries in my inbox, because most of the time the people who are buying from you, they're in your inbox asking you questions, scheduling appointments, or they just go straight to your website and book a call. They're not necessarily liking and commenting on your post. And sometimes people get discouraged because they're not seeing that traction. They're not getting a certain number of likes. They're not getting a certain number of comments. And that's not what is really important. It is the conversion, how these posts are leading people to your inbox, onto your calendar. That's what's really important. And I also pay attention to client retention.
Right.
Where did this customer come to from me? How is it going onboarding them? How well am I able to retain them? Clients who come to me organically, I see where we retain them at such a higher rate than a lot of the clients who come to me through paid advertising. So now that we're thinking of branching off into doing more paid advertising, we know that we have to increase the amount of people that we're onboarding in order to maintain a certain level of retention.
Right. Absolutely. And tracking those things, it's really, it can be difficult early on, especially, but if you have the right systems and tools in place and the right team, that makes it all
Yes.
doable, right? Um, so we're kind of shifting towards like experience and messaging. Whenever someone comes across the Excel brand online, especially as you move towards, more paid advertising, this is going to be even more relevant. But say, they click on your paid ad and they're experiencing your brand for the first time. What impression or feeling do you want them to walk away with? What do you want their experience to be?
The first thing I want them to feel is that we are reliable. Reliability, professional, because I want clients to understand that we're going to take care of your clients just as well as you would, maybe even better. We are going to respect you and your business and the hard work that you have put into growing your organization. And we're coming there to add value and to enhance that. So once someone come across our brand, I want them to see our testimonials that we have. I want them to have a clear image of how we do business and the values that we represent as a company. That's very, very important to me.
And then, kind of our last question, and as you look ahead, um, are there any areas of marketing or brand presence you'd like to strengthen or experiment with? You mentioned paid advertising. You've relied more so on social media advertising. But I guess what areas of marketing are you looking forward to kind of expanding and growing in?
So I definitely want to lean more into storytelling. Even though
Mhm.
that's something that I've always done, I still believe that there's a deeper dive that I can do. Maybe sharing more behind the scenes, maybe sharing more of
Right.
my experiences and the experience of Excel CSR services as a whole, the lessons we've learned, some of the growing pains that we've experienced. I definitely want to experiment more in video content. I've actually thought
Yeah.
about doing a podcast as well, because I just have seen so much working with different individuals, different personality types, different organizational cultures, and seeing how each of these have played out. That has also helped shape me as a leader and as an entrepreneur, because I see what works for other companies. I see what doesn't work. personality traits or systems that they have in place. So that's something that I also want to lean into more, to share more of that, because adding that value once again lends to allowing our company to be a brand that people will trust and want to do business with. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier as well, I definitely want to do more paid advertising, because I want Excel brand to grow and be its own thing. Do more events where I'm actually out in the field, we're present, people can see us, we're tangible and not just something that exists
Floating
in the cyberspace, right? So those are some of the areas that we're planning on going into as we move forward and as we continue to grow as a company.
Absolutely. I love how you just mentioned storytelling because that with especially with the introduction of AI into marketing and everything's kind of becoming automated and um, everyone recognizes this when it comes to AI, but you're a lot of businesses when they dip their toe into AI or they're utilizing AI for their content creation, it loses that personalized touch. And so one of the ways to counter that is by showing real stories, real people, showing your real the real people behind your business can help build those connections and kind of overcome some of the way that the typical market is shifting right now when it comes to utilization of more AI tools. And so AI can be a great way to enhance your story as well. So I'm not trying to discredit AI entirely, but um, ultimately that personal connection is always going to win the day when it comes to marketing. And so the fact that you're focused on storytelling, I think, is a really good thing.
Yes, absolutely. And the key with storytelling is being authentic. I know I've used this word a number of times, but that is so important, because so many times we want to be perfect. And Brené Brown said it best when she said that when we lean into authenticity, then we create space for our imperfections to thrive. So people believe that, oh, as a company, we have to be perfect. We have to be hitting all these points and saying it just right. And most people don't relate to perfection. And that's why even sharing more of the behind the scenes, the growing pains, the ups and downs is something that I too want to dive into, because I'm a recovering perfectionist. I always want everything to be just right. And it's a form of procrastination. It takes away from productivity, and people don't really relate to perfection. They want to see you for who you are. They want to see bits of themselves in you, so that gives them even more confidence to then go out and show more of themselves to the world as well. So I think that's very important. I share a funny story. I recently ended up in the algorithm for over 65 Medicare marketing. Every time I'm online, I'm getting those ads. But the one thing I've realized is all of them are the same. The,
Right.
the graphics is different, the company name is different, but the message is the same. And it got to the point where I'm like, did I see this one already, or was that a different company? It I couldn't keep track, you know? And it's a message to insurance agents and businesses across the board. Be yourself, share your story. That will give you such an edge, and it will allow you to stand out so much more than I was like, I can just only imagine people who are truly over 65, who are truly looking for help in Medicare. How are they going to choose when it's all cookie cutter, all the same? But if there's one company that stands out, that's different, and that shares a good quality message, then they will be that company that these people probably trust and want to go with.
Because whenever you start dipping your toe into the marketing world and advertising world, you start noticing um, advertisements more than ever. Like when I started working in agency, um, I now look at the world entirely differently. Like when I'm driving down the road, I have to look at every billboard and like judge, oh, is this messaging clear? Is this call to action clear? It's just funny how you notice those things. So it's funny how you noticed that with it once you were in the Medicare, you're being targeted for Medicare ads. That's pretty interesting.
I
Um,
won't be 65 anytime soon, but
right. No, that's funny.
But I
It's
know
funny
that the
how when
algorithm
the
doesn't
targeting is
always.
wrong and you're like, why am I receiving these ads? I'm not in this demographic, but
Right.
it happens. Yeah. uh, Great. Well, Cileen, I really enjoyed this conversation. It was great meeting you, great talking to you. Where can people get in touch with you online or your business online? How can people find y'all?
So they can find us at excelcsr.com. That's our website. You can learn more about us there. You can book a consultation and also review our customer testimonials. And you can find me on social media. My name is Cileen Doulatt. I'm the one and only. So if you search my name, you'll be able to find me. I would love to connect with you all and continue to share our stories together.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cileen, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Braden, for having me. It was a pleasure.